what's going on, guys? It's Cheyenne here, and I am shooting this video to work on my speaking because my speaking coach has requested the next step in our progress of working together is to shoot a video every single day of me speaking about public speaking and stuttering, because obviously I'm an expert on stuttering, having stuttered for, I would say, over 32 years. So let's get right into this video. I am going to tell a story about when I first started on the journey to becoming a better speaker, or to put it in another way, to tackle head on the big monster of stuttering. Excuse me. So this was about maybe a little under 10 years ago now. I hopped online because I was looking for a stuttering support group, and I found one that was sponsored by the National Stuttering Association, and I mustered up the courage to send the guy an email to confirm the time so I could go. And so I put it on my calendar to go to the meeting, and I went to the meeting in the afternoon after work. I walked into the room, and it was at a public library. So they have these rooms that you rent out for a couple of hours. And so I walked into the public library looking for the meeting. And I said, all right, where's the meeting? Where's the meeting? So I found the meeting, and as you guys already know from experience, when you're in that state of mind, you are in a very panicked state of mind. My palms are sweaty. I am smelling the smell of being scared through my body odor. I am sweating. Literally, I am sweating. I am scared for my life. My body thinks I'm being attacked by a lion, but I'm literally just walking into a room to hang out with a couple other people who have the same little problem that I have. So I sit down, and I am nervous as heck. I am pretty scared, and they start the introductions. So it goes to this guy, it goes to this person over here, and then it stops over for me, and I say, oh, I used to do that house. And I say, okay, yeah, this is my name, blah, 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 blah. No worries there. So then we get to the introduction for the chapter leader. He says, this is my name. And mind you, he was a very high up in the National Stuttering Association's hierarchy, if you call it. He was on the board of directors. So, and he took really a good command of the room. And I said, all right, I might be able to pull some information off of this guy, maybe a little tip or a trick. So he goes on with his introduction, and he decides to tell a very peculiar story. He says that he once knew a man used to speak to himself for 3 hours a day in the morning, speaking out loud on a walk, because he said it really helped his fluency. Now the chapter leader is said in a very snarky tone. He said, who has the time to talk to themselves for 3 hours a day? And he said it very sarcastically. And that's when my spidey senses started to tingle. And I said, who has 3 hours a day? Well, that is a lot of time, but to become more fluent, to me, that seems like a small price to pay. And that's when I knew that within the stuttering community of people who are specifically functional stutterers, so people who do have some periods of the fluency still, there are some of the people who, for lack of a better term, they have given up. And for me, I was not ready to give up yet, because I started to think about who else practices their speaking. Well, the politicians sure do practice their speaking. The performers and the actors surely practice their speaking multiple times, like almost every single day. And even people who sell products for a living, they practice their script every morning. So what makes me so special that I cannot practice my speaking? And that's when I knew that organization was not for me, because I wanted to be around people who believed in me and who believed in my fluency and who saw me as a fluent speaker before I was actually a fluent speaker. And that's my story about when I went to a stuttering support group. So now we're going to enter the part of the video where I'm going to talk a little bit about my speaking in this video. So in this video, I believe I did a pretty okay job. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. And I think I can improve on maintaining a steady level of energy. Because for me, a lot of the times I get very excited very easily, which is not a bad thing. But I am learning how to control my emotions, almost like a master of the Oriental martial arts, and to control my entire body. And so I will pursue on that path of total control. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Peace.